So, longtime MangaTube viewers may remember a trend that kind of hit about 2 years ago on manga YouTube. It was a YouTube recommendation bingo trend. Now, let me tell you right now, this is not that. In the last video I put on this channel, I showcased that I have a ton of books on my TBR, or books I need to read. So I've decided to go with Manga Bingo, but a new twist. I'm gonna use Google Bingo to finish my TBR, or at least read more volumes. I'm gonna use a random number generator to pick a number between 1 and 1300 because I have over 1300 volumes of manga. And that number correlates to a volume on my bookshelves. Now, if the number goes to Erased, a finished completed series that I have read before, I'll grab one of the volumes and talk to you about it. See if it fills in one of the slots on our bingo card. But if it's something like Black Clover, where I've only read like 6 volumes or something like that, or maybe a series I haven't even started yet, I have to read it before we check any boxes. If I'm not up to date, I have to read at least 1 volume, and that 1 volume can only be 1 check. Now, this may take me a couple hours, this may take me a couple weeks, but I'm going to condense it down to a much shorter video for you to be able to watch and see as I progress through my TBR. Now, let's review the bingo card that I generated so nobody thinks I'm cheating. Now, I feel like this is pretty straightforward, but I'm going to talk about a couple of these points just so everyone understands. This one right here, 7th print or higher. Now, most series have different print runs, and usually you can find out which print run your book came from. So, take this example of Hunter x Hunter Volume 1 that I own. If the random number generator chose this volume, and I look inside, I can see that this volume was printed in the 13th printing of May in 2021. Since 13 is bigger than 7, it can check that box. Since it's also a Viz Media volume, I can strategically choose to, instead of the 7th print run, check the Viz Media box instead. So there's a little strategy behind it. Smite me. So I kind of have a pretty clear definition of characters that I really like. If it's got one of the characters that I absolutely love that can just smash me to oblivion and I'll say thank you, we'll check it off. Box Collect Omni. This is essentially anything that's not necessarily a standard typical volume, box set volume, collector's edition volume, omnibus volume, even art books even apply because that's like kind of collector's thing. First print from 2018 or earlier. Thinking back to the Hunter x Hunter example, this Pet Shop of Horrors volume is a first print dating back all the way to 2003. Since 2003 isn't as high of a year, or it's earlier than 2018, that checks off on that box. Okay, so reminder, since 1 volume is 1 check, we gotta get going. All right, I have 1336 in terms of whatchamacallit, books on my bookshelf. So we're gonna give this a go and we're gonna see what number it picks. Here we go. 428. Okay, so I'm gonna count 428 volumes. I have to count the volume. Okay, I'll be right back. Just so everyone knows, I'm starting up here with the stuff on top of the bookshelf. All right, volume number 428 is Chain Soldier Volume 2. So coincidentally, actually, according to my MAL right here, Chain Soldier, I've only read 2 volumes of this series, but I own 3 of them. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna grab the 3rd volume, and we're gonna read it and see if it categorizes in anything. All right, I'll be back shortly.
2 hours later.
A couple things to note right here though. Chain Soldier is a 7.60, so it doesn't qualify for the less than 6 or above 8 category. Kind of shocked that it's 7.6. And also, Chain Soldier is classified as a shonen action dark fantasy. Also shockingly not harem, as this is also a first edition February 2023 print. There's not a lot of options here actually. It's currently 12 volumes published in Japan and And to be honest, I mean, I tried to look for it, but I could not find a single curse word. There's also not really a character that like I absolutely adore that I'm like, smite me, even though in my opinion, the action scenes in this series are really, really good actually. It's well choreographed. I really love the character designs, their powers and things like that. And that's kind of the thing that keeps hooking me into the series. I swear. There is an anime adaptation confirmed and in the works, but that doesn't count because it's not released yet. So I really think the only thing that this is going to count is for have read, because I read volume 2, why I moved on to volume 3, or the fact that it's the source material. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna go the source material. It's right diagonal along that free space, so I'm 2 out of the 5 spots on that diagonal line, and we just gotta see what comes next. Cracking a cold one for this next one. The cold one being a Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream, not sponsored. This is like my favorite Dr. Pepper. If you're enjoying this video and you're enjoying this format, please make sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe on this video. At the time of this recording, we're like 2 subs away from 2,000 subscribers. But going back to the random number generator, because this is the same day, we've got 1336 still to go. Let's go ahead and generate the next one. It is 784. So actually, I can start with 428 over at Chain Soldier. Oh, that's good thinking. All right, I'm gonna start counting. Volume number 784 was Spy Family Volume 8. Now, I've actually read this series before, and truthfully, I've already read this volume. Spy Family is actually one of the series that I actually try to stay up to date online with the new chapters that release simultaneously in Japan and on like the Viz Media Shonen Jump apps. So I know the series pretty well, and there's a lot of different things that I could put as the check mark. So let's kind of check this out. Spy Family, for those of you who don't know, qualifies for the above 8 category with an 8.6 rating at this point. It's a shonen by Viz Media, which is another category. Spy, comedy, and action. None of those really apply, but the characters at least do apply in there. It has an anime adaptation that I absolutely love. I have read it before. I don't think the print run is really going to matter. This is definitely a first print run, September 2022. It is currently ongoing. It does have a character in this series that I qualify as the smite me. It is Yor Forger. I love Yor. She is the mother, for anyone who doesn't know, in this series. I love her to death. She can do whatever. Now, I'm really considering between 2 different options, have read and another one, top 5. Spy Family is actually in my top 5 favorite series. I've mentioned it before in previous videos, but for anyone who maybe doesn't believe me, I have like a little bit of notes here from like creating the bingo card. In my top 5 here, Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, Komi, Danmachi the light novels, and Call of the Night. No specific order really on that part, but I think honestly I have to go with the top 5. Top 5, although is a large portion of my bookshelf, it's not as much as the have read portion of my bookshelf. So although have read can get me like 3 notches out of the 5 on that diagonal line, I think the top 5 does a lot better in the long run because there are less volumes that I own in my top 5 series than in my have read section, because I've read like over 400 volumes. So with another notch on the board, let's just roll the dice for the next one and get going. All right, so 784 was Spy Family. So let's generate the next number. It is 375. So I can go backwards from Chain Soldier and we'll find out what it is. All right, so I found out that 375 is volume 25 of Black Clover. Now, I will say, even though I think volume 25 is like where the anime has left off before the Wizard King movie, which I don't even think is canonical to the manga, I am currently 6 volumes in on Black Clover. So gotta go grab number 7 and I'll tell you about it. I technically have not read this volume yet, by the way. All right, so volume 7 of Black Clover, now done with, another one off the shelf and another checked off. Before I do that though, Black Clover, a 7.86, so almost qualified for the above 8 category. And even though it's like the modern big 3 of shonen, Chain Soldier is like the same score. Just want to throw that out there. Black Clover, also in Viz Media, is an adventure fantasy with 34 volumes currently printed of this series. And just scrolling down to see the 34. It is March 3rd, so yeah, 34 volumes out currently right now. So looking at our bingo board, here's what we got for this series. It is an anime, it's Viz. In terms of the print run for this series, this is a 5th printing edition from June 2021, so it does not qualify for the 7th print or a first print earlier than 2018. It is an ongoing series currently right now though, so that's another box that we could check off if we wanted. Can be a part of the have not read category because technically volume 25 was one that I hadn't read yet. And here's another thing that I noticed. Black Clover has a wide cast of characters, a good array of characters, but I don't think in Black Clover, having watched the anime and now 7 volumes of the manga, there wasn't any like smite me characters that I really loved. It was weird. There was also no curse words in the volume. I literally read it back to like check for curse words. There were no curse words in the black bowls of all groups. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick the 15 and plus volumes option because, well, there's not a ton of series that are 15. I felt like 15 was a pretty good number in terms of number of volumes that are currently out right now. So I think I'm gonna get that out of the way. Plus it goes into a 3, and then it's also that bottom section there can help me with a 2 if I get like harem or side stories, slice of life type stuff. So now that we're at 3 options, we gotta pick our next volume. All right, so we got the random number generator. 375 was Black Clover. What is this next one? 1235. Oh, I'm gonna have to look back in the VOD to see what number. I think it was like 720 something was Spy Family. I'm gonna have to start there and just count 500. It's gonna be like on this bookshelf right here. I'm sure of it. All right, so the next volume that has come up on our list in this episode is volume 69. Nice. No, wait, I did that wrong. Hold on. I'm 100% serious. It was supposed to be volume 67 of Bleach. I swear it was not meant to be a joke. But anyways, volume 67 of Bleach. This volume is in the middle of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I believe it's like the final arc of the series. The series only having 74 volumes in total. And because I'm not at volume 67 yet, I haven't read it, I'm going to be reading volume 55, which is the start of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. This is the first volume after the Lost Agent arc in Bleach, which I have read. I've read through 54 volumes, which reminds me I have to make another video because I reviewed the first box set of Bleach and now I got to review the second and a little bit of the third, you know, like the Rancor arc and the Lost Agent arc, because you can kind of mash those together. The Lost Agent arc's real small. So I'm excited to get into the 1,000-Year Blood War. I love Bleach. It's not in my top 5, but I really, really love Bleach. And who knows, maybe after I read the 1,000-Year Blood War, I mean, I won't finish this today, but maybe after I read the 1,000-Year Blood War, I will like put it inside my top 5. Who knows? All right, the final arc of Bleach underway, the 1,000-Year Blood War. I've been so excited to read this, the final arc of the series, and it started off really good too. There was a lot of great information in here about like the stuff that you kind of needed to know about the bad guys. A lot of it was revealing about like who the antagonist group is, a little bit about the story, but it wasn't like too much of an information overload, if that makes sense. Very, very good job by Tite Kubo. I'm very excited to finish it up. We still got to choose what spot on our grid it's going to take. Now, just like I said earlier, Bleach is a 74 volume finished complete series in terms of the manga. All the manga volumes are released in the English and the Japan as well, with a 7.83 overall rating, so doesn't either eclipse that 8.0 like we had talked about earlier. It is adventure, supernatural, shonen from Viz Media, so it can kind of check off a couple boxes, but let's kind of look at the bingo card and see where this takes us. The 1,000-Year Blood War start does have an anime. It's currently airing right now, so I will count it, or the 1,000-Year Blood War's going on. Bleach has been an anime for a long time. It is a Viz Media volume. I had not read it yet, and it's not necessarily an isekai. This printing specifically, this is from the 3rd box set. This is an 8th printing from January 2022, so it does qualify on that 7th print or higher in terms of print run. And also this volume, like I showed the other ones and previously talked about, it came in a box set, so it actually also qualifies for that box set section. I think looking at what we currently have right now, I think it's best for me to hit that top left corner in has in anime. I know a lot of these volumes have in anime, but I feel like my options in trying to complete this probably like under 10 volumes is getting a little bit thin. Although I will say we've only read 4 or gone over 4, so maybe it's not actually that bad. So we're just gonna cross that one off. It's a little bit of a freebie, but I think I have to take the gamble right now. Now that we've finished volume 55, let's go ahead to our number generator and find out what this next number is. 565. So let's go check that out, and then I'll catch you back and tell you what it is. So it turns out that volume 565 was Jujutsu Kaisen volume 6. Now, I have read this volume before, so that is something to know when we get back to our chart after I read the volume. But because I've read that and I have to read a volume per series, it looks like I'm going to be reading the next volume, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 9. I was specifically holding off for the anime, season 2 of the anime airing this summer, but I think maybe I can like try to build myself, you know, kind of get an idea of what's going on, go faster than the anime just a little bit to get a sneak peek, maybe to get myself excited and maybe to help remind myself the setting of where Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 left off. So I'm excited to get into this. This is a very popular show and one that I really like. Not inside my top 5 though. I mean, I've already got that checked off, but I think one that can really help us get in with our list. Okay, so it's the next morning. I just read Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 9, and let me tell you, I'm really excited for season 2 of the anime to come out this summer. This volume was awesome. This volume delved in a lot of the backstory of how, like, without spoiling it, like different members of the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, like how they came to be, but then also the end of the volume kind of starting something anew, but the end of the volume really leaving off on like a good spot in terms of making me excited now to read volume 10. Now I really have to decide, like, am I just gonna let the anime do it, or now that I'm ahead of the anime and the manga, am I gonna start reading more? I don't know, but I'm very excited. But we still gotta figure out where this is qualifying on our grid. Now, it's important to know that Jujutsu Kaisen on MAL is an 8.53 currently, so it is above that 8 threshold in that one mark. The second series that we've come across that is above 8, the other one being Spy Family, but Jujutsu Kaisen not in my top 5. Jujutsu Kaisen also a Viz Media shonen of adventure, dark fantasy, and supernatural. All right, so I've slept, so I need to pull up my sheet of like what we've done on the grid. Now there's a couple different options that we could do here. We could do the Viz Media click because this is a Viz Media publication. The printing of this, it's not that old. This is a 4th printing of June 2021, so it does not qualify in that 5th printing. We can choose this ongoing option because this is still a series that is being published. This can be in a portion of the have not read section, and again, like I mentioned, the above 8 on MAL, and I think that's really pretty much it. I'm like trying to think about what I want to do. I think I'm gonna have to go with have not read for this, or maybe I'll go ongoing. I think I'm gonna actually go ongoing here because with ongoing it allows me that top portion but also the freebie line, and the have not read section has the same amount of lines, but I have so many books that are unread that I feel like I can use that later for like a real bind. So yeah, final answer, I'm gonna go with ongoing. Now that's another volume checked off on this kind of like reading vlog kind of video, I guess you could say, game. We've read 4 different volumes in 5 different rounds, and now it's time for round number 6 to choose what our random number is going to be. So I've got the 1 and 1336 back in here, and let's generate it. It is 1106. So let's find that volume. All right, so 1106 was actually kind of a spicy one. It was volume 1 of Ladies on Top. Now, actually, funny story, I have read this volume. I read this volume like literally the night before I started recording this. So this is a very new read. I don't own volume 2. I believe volume 2 is out, but I don't own it right yet. So I'm not obligated to read. We're just gonna find out the information on it and then make a check if possible. Now, ladies, on top is a Jose 7C's printing about romantic comedy or sex comedy. Oh, why is the image so low res on here? Is it because it's adult? I don't know. It's a finished published 6-volume series with a 6.71 score on MAL. I mean, it's not LGBTQ. It is in the have read section that I can pick up, so I think that's a really good one to note, because that would also get me 4 on that diagonal line, but also because I don't know what else this is going to qualify for. It's not ongoing. It's higher than 6. I don't think it's a 7th print. This is a very new series. I think just started releasing last year. Yeah, first printing edition September 2022. It's not considered a slice of life, and it's not a shoujo, it's a josei. So I think literally the only thing that it's going to qualify for is that have read section, because I did read it prior to recording this video. So actually, you know what, before I make that decision, let me like skim through this to see if there's like a curse word. I don't know. I'm still looking, but I just want to know, I just want everyone to know that there was a perfect opportunity to drop the F-bomb in this volume, but he said flubbed instead, and I'm upset. I found a curse word. I can't actually show you, but I'll tell you it's on the 3rd page of chapter 5. The 3rd page of chapter 5. There's a nice old F-bomb in there. Boom, there's a curse word. I think I might go with that instead, actually, because on our grid, that's at that bottom corner, and that's been really, really tough. And with all these books that I need to read, I think the have read is a really, really easy one to get in comparison. So I'm just going to be safe, and I'm going to go with curse word. Final answer, curse word, no takebacks. Okay, so if that means that this number generator, this next round can, oh, there's some Pokemon card. I was kind of watching Pokemon card games. If this next random number is a volume I have not read, I can just read it and then solidify right then and there that I am done. Okay, here we go. Let's see what it is. 1106. It's volume 13. I think I know what volume 13 is. Thinking of my bookshelf. I'll be right back. Just as I thought, volume 13 is Angel Beats Heaven's Door. Now, the interesting thing about this is, if you do not see already, this is an official Japanese volume of Angel Beats Heaven's Door. Angel Beats, one of my favorite anime that I've ever watched all time, and the manga was only printed with volume 1 in the United States. The rest of the volumes do not exist in the United States. So Angel Beat Heaven's Door, I have the whole series in Japanese, but obviously I can't read Japanese. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick up volume 1 over there, but read it like alongside on my phone. I use my phone as a camera, so I'm gonna have to end the recording, but do like a side-by-side read of this series. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll check back in. So I finally finished it, Angel Beats Heaven's Door Volume 1. It was tough to kind of read online, but I think it was good. It kind of is a prequel to the Angel Beats anime series that was popularized, and it's one that I just really, really wish came to the United States, and that the subsequent volumes after the first volume that produced in America were not delayed indefinitely. Please, 7Cs, if you're listening to this, please add it. Please bring it back. But anyways, this doesn't complete our series, I think. I don't think this completes our Manga Bingo, because this is not something that I had read previously. This is an isekai series. That is something that I can note to get 3 going down on there. It is also technically a volume 1 death, because the main character dies, hence why it's an isekai. So that could be good right there. It could also be good in the have not read section or the seinen section, to be honest. This also qualifies as a side story. I think I'm gonna end up going with the seinen portion. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go seinen on this one. I'm gonna try to see if I can finish this arguably within the next volume, or set myself up in a position to be able to like get that down row as well as that diagonal line potentially. Trying to close up a lot of my options. I don't know. This is like a really difficult bingo strategy. Switching clothes yet again, another recording segment, because it's now time to figure out what exactly we're gonna read. So random number generator picking 139, so let's figure out what that is. So, volume 39 ends up being Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Man 22 to 26. Now, this is one that I actually have not read before, so I don't think that we can secure a bingo through our bingo grid, because the one that I really need is the have read. Man, I think I should have checked that off while I could. But anyways, this is technically like the second one of the two Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Mans. I don't think there's like actually a particular order that you can read. I think you're fine making them like standalone volumes, but for the purpose of my sanity, I'm gonna go ahead and read 17 through 21 because these numbers are first and it makes sense in my brain. I don't know. If you don't know what this is, Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch, these are a collection of some of his lesser known one-shots before he blew up as a mangaka from Chainsaw Man. I've read a handful of his other one-shots, and truthfully, I think Tatsuki Fujimoto is probably my favorite mangaka, so I'm excited to read this volume. We'll see where it goes. Back another day, Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Man 17 to 21. I took a gander at it, I read it as part of the bingo, and so now it's time to see where best it fits in our bingo chart. I didn't go into this with the expectation that these are just as good as his other one-shots like Look Back, Goodbye Eri, Just Listen to the Song, because these were all first write-ups for Tatsuki Fujimoto. I believe Tatsuki Fujimoto directly says like 2011 some of these came from, and there's 4 different stories inside of it. This first one I gotta read it because it's a mouthful. A couple clucking chickens were still kicking in the schoolyard. Sasaki Stopped a Bullet, Love is Blind, and Shikaku. I would have to say out of the 4 of these, Love is Blind is my favorite. It's like the classic Tatsuki Fujimoto where it's like raw, but like you can't really like predict what happens. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, oh, another thing, oh, another thing, oh. So although I can't give it a 10 out of 10 like Chainsaw Man, it was still very, very enjoyable to read through these. Now taking a look, Tatsuki Fujimoto Before Chainsaw Man is a perfect 7.0, so neither above 8 or below 6, and on Wikipedia this is currently classified as a shonen, fantasy, comedy, and horror. It is technically a finished published series because it's just like a collection of one-shots. There's 2 of them out. Technically the second one is the one that was picked, I believe. And so going into this now, it is a Viz Media volume, so that is something worth noting. It was a brand new print, so I don't think it's a 7th print or higher. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but there is volume 1 death technically. So that alongside Have Not Read are 2 ones that are actually worth noting. So I think just volume 1 death, Have Not Read, and Viz are the 3 choices that I have to go for. And to be honest, I think I might go with volume 1 death, to be honest. I think I'm gonna check that one off because that gives 3 on both the up down the column and also the horizontal line, whereas Have Not Read only does 2 on one but 3 on the other. So I think we're gonna pencil that one in finally. So now it's time to figure out what our random number is. It is 1144, so I think that's before Bleach. So 1144, I have found it. It's none other than Prison School. Longtime viewers may remember that this is something that Chad bought me when you all took my credit card and you bought manga online. That iCard is up in the top over there if you want to watch that video, because on our grid, this is one that I have read before. I have read this volume. I haven't gotten Prison School volume 2 yet, but that means that we can check off that top right corner up there, have read, and we officially have a bingo. Woo! We did it! And there you have it. That wrapped up my first Manga Bingo challenge that I've done to try to catch up in my TBR. There were 9 different selections in getting this bingo, so next time we do this, we gotta try to maybe get better than 9. It was very interesting because although there was a little bit of mix of like ones that I have read before and ones that I have not, I ended up reading 6 different volumes in this segment, pushing myself up to 447 volumes read out of 1336. That's up to 33.5% about it, although that's a really bad number. And to be honest, the May manga haul here is almost 100 volumes that have not been added to that total yet. It's a good start to what I consider to be really fun. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure not only to subscribe to the channel and hit the like on the video, but also if you want to see more of this, give me a little bit of feedback. Give me some help on, did you really like this series? Do you want to see more of these bingo challenges? But also, what squares should I include next time? I have a couple ideas on what I can include in the next bingo card, including, like, does the manga have a double panel or does it pass the Belchin test? Obviously, some of them are going to repeat, but I don't want to do the same bingo card every single time. And in my opinion, the hardest part about creating this video was choosing 24 slots, because the middle one was a freebie, so it wasn't even 25. But again, expect this in the future, and for the time being, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Check out the other videos that are up here up top, and I hope to see you again in the future. Cheers.